Okay, Rachel, you ready to go?
Yes.
What are we doing?
I don't know. I thought you knew.
Phil, aren't you supposed to be running the show? Which guest have we got?
Don't make me the boss of stuff.
You're the boss of stuff.
Let's wing it.
And go.
Hi, welcome to the This Is My Voice podcast.
The podcast where we discuss all things voice performance and talk to some of the industry's best and brightest talent.
We're your hosts, Rachel Salas.
And Eddie Bye.
Eddie, we've interviewed dogs and mooses, but what about a bear and a duck?
What? What are you talking about?
It's okay, Eddie. The bear is very sweet and the duck fights crime.
Yeah, well, you've definitely lost it now.
Presenting voice artist royalty, Jim Cummings. Woo! Yay!
Hello, my friends. It's good to be here with you. How are things in the future?
They're great.
So people aren't really flying around in cars then?
No, sadly not. I'm going to go straight into the first question. So you've just done about every kind of voice gig imaginable. Why do you love your job?
Well, I've said it before. It's a thing that used to get me kicked out of class, and I love it so much I would do it for free. But if you do it well enough, you can con somebody into paying you. And so there I am. But don't tell anyone. For love of Mike, don't let this get out of the room, please. Everyone will start doing it. And we don't want anybody to horn in on my honey. That would be terrible. I'd bounce them right back out of the 100-acre wood.
So we're both quite similar as we've both got voiceover podcasts. Can you tell us how that came to be?
Well, pretty sure it was my wife's idea because, I would do lots of my friends' podcasts and they all seem to be having a good time. And, there's a lot of stories. I've been doing this for a very long time. And as a result, I've got a lot of stories. A lot about interesting stories at different recording sessions for Marvel, for Geek, for Hanna-Barbera, for Disney, just all the way down the line. And people, as my friend Rob always says, they kind of like the ability to sneak around to the sideshow and lift up the circus tent to see what's going on behind the scenes. And that's kind of what I'm providing here.
Rob Paulson, he mentioned that all these big name voiceover artists are actually great friends. And you think with being a voice artist, so you're competing against these people, but there's such friendship and camaraderie with you guys. How did you guys get to know each other and how have they supported your career over the years?
Oh, well, it's very easily, we meet each other at different jobs. Rob and I, to be precise, met at Hanna-Barbera, and that's no longer there. But, I walked in and it was one of my very first cartoons I ever did. It was, I think it was the Snorks, or I was an auxiliary Smurf or something many, many moons ago. And literally like 40 years ago. And we just struck up a friendship. He's from Flint, Michigan. I'm from Youngstown, Ohio, both very blue collar areas of the country. And we saw eye to eye on a lot of stuff. And he's a great guy. He's one of my best buddies. And to this day. And so I'm glad to have brought him up. He owes me $5 now.
Yeah, that's brilliant. I love that camaraderie with voice artists and, directors as well. I was just talking to a friend of mine and, I said I spend more time with my artists chatting about their day and their family and what's going on. And then I go, well, we might as well knock over this script. And then we spend 5 minutes doing the script and then we're back to chatting again. And I think you do become really good friends with these people. I mean, I think everyone is the same, right? You're all a little bit unhinged. Your brain doesn't quite work the way a normal person's brain works. And I think you find a great connection that way, don't you?
Absolutely. Yeah, there's no doubt about it. We all have the same cracks in our eggshells, so to speak. And it works. It works. If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
I agree. And that's why you have a lot of fun in the studio, I guess.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. We crack each other up. We always try to see who can sneak in the slightly off-color joke here and there. And, they catch us every time, but we try.
Have you gotten each other work?
Oh, yeah. Oh, absolutely. Here and there. I've recommended a few of my friends here and there. And the biggest one I can tell you about is the great Frank Welker. He's kind of like the Beatles of voiceover, if you ask me. And he was very gracious when they were just forming the cast for Lion King. They had him come in to do the character Ed, and he's the hyena that only laughed. That, and he just wasn't feeling it. Plain and simple. He was going, I don't know. But you know what? Call Jimmy Cummings. Give him a call. I think he's your guy. So I came in and I tested for it and I got the job. And not only did I get the job as Ed, I was there when they were kind of writing music and this and that. And my friend Jess Harnell, who's an amazing singer, they tagged us to do Hakuna Matata as Pumbaa and Timon. And so it was kind of, they said, well, you're here, you're already singing. And it was just a demo for Ernie and Nathan to drive around in their car and listen to so they could learn the song, because they weren't musicians. And, if you hear a song, you could hear Happy Birthday in your car for 2 weeks and you're going to know it by the end of the time. So that's what they were doing. And they said, well, since you're here, would you like to take a swing at the villain song? And the villains always get a really killer song. And I would absolutely love to take a swing at and that was the song, Be Prepared. And so Jeremy Irons does all of the singing, so to speak. And then I come in, you won't get a sniff without me. And then we're off to the races. And you always have to laugh at the end of the song. For some reason, it's the villain. It's a rule.
You're so good at the singing parts with different characters because you also did Rasputin because Christopher Lloyd couldn't sing.
Yeah, well, that was a lot of fun. They just called me. I've run into Christopher several times since then, and we laugh about it. But he said they told him, they go, "Oh, Christopher, you're gonna love this. We got this incredible. It's like a Phantom of the Opera song for you, the villain song, and you're doing it. It's gonna be great. You're gonna love it." And he goes, "Well, that won't be me singing it, so I hope I don't suck." And they said, "Okay, we got to find somebody who can sing like Christopher Lloyd." So I got the job, and I ran into him, and they told me that he came in because he kind of had to sign off on it. And he goes, "Wow, I sound pretty good." So that's my story.
So do you think singing is a really important part of being a great character voice?
Well, it's certainly a fantastic accessory, so to speak. If you can sing, it's just one more tool in your kit. And the thing is, the trick is you have to be able to sing in character. That's key. It has to sound like, Tasmanian Devil can't start singing, "Some enchanted evening." That wouldn't work.
Yeah, it's funny because, a lot of people we've spoken to, I don't think hardly any of them are singers as well, are they? Or am I wrong?
Well, Tamara works to say...
Yeah,
opera.
Tamara.
Yeah.
Tamara.
I can sing in one of my funny voices, but I can't sing in real life. I am dreadful at singing.
Oh, that's funny.
It's so weird.
I always thought I could sing. Because you know what it is, Jim, there's a lot of translation between being a singer and being a voiceover artist in terms of breath control, diaphragm, and being able to really hold your voice, right? So I can do all of that. There's no problem there. And I thought, well, I can obviously sing, right? And, I've been around music all my life. I actually sung a jingle for a radio ad a couple of years ago. It was through COVID, actually. Yeah. And I thought I did a really good job of it. And then I had a musician a songwriter come into my studio, and I was just like, check this out. I did it in the style of this particular band. And he just looked at me and he just goes, "Wow, that's terrible." And I've gone, whoa, hang on. Even to my ear, I thought it was okay. And it was just, I said, it was like 4 words I sung. It was like a tiny little jingle. And, I'd processed the crap out of it in Pro Tools and I've, made it, all sound amazing. And I thought I was really proud of it. And he just goes, "Well, you're out of tune." And I'm like, I can't hear that. And I'm like, damn, I can't sing. I know. The thing went to air. The client loved it. So obviously nobody else noticed.
Oh, well, listen, if the check cleared, you're good to go.
Run! You got away with it.
Exactly.
Good night, everybody.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Going back to The Lion King, one that really sticks out that's my childhood is Mrs. Gorilla Lady from Timon and Pumbaa Around the World.
Well, I can't even remember the voice I gave to that child, but it was someone in here somewhere.
I think. I could be wrong. Oh, God. I'm embarrassing myself. Stop me before I kill again, won't you? Please. Oh, God. Well, yeah, there are plenty of gals for that. That's where April Winchell or Tress MacNeille comes in.
With all this experience, what advice would you give to up-and-coming voice artists?
Well, I get asked that a lot, and I can tell them, if you do a perfect impression of a big-time celebrity, that's great. You never know. Maybe be able to use it someday. And if you do a terrible impression of a big time celebrity. Nobody even knows who you're doing. That's good because that's a new character. That's a whole new character. If you do Humphrey Bogart and they go, who? Okay, what is that? And they go, oh, that's my new character. And I also recommend doing impressions of your relatives. If you do, because you're sitting around a family reunion or Thanksgiving or whatever. Of course, we have that here, Christmas time, whatever. And, my Uncle Sam, he, God rest his soul, he's been a couple of bad guys. And that's how he talked. That's just how he talked. Oh, yeah.
And then my Aunt Grace, God love her, she was Lieutenant Spinelli on Chippendale's Rescue Rangers.
And that's just how she sounded to my 5-year-old ears. And so they were forever ensconced in animation history.
Here we go. I'll do one. I don't normally do this because I'm not a character voice, right? So you'll learn this real quick, Jim. I'm no good at it. But my dad's got a really old voice and I copy him all the time. And hello, right? I just hang on a moment. I'll turn the kettle off, and I do this, right? I'm just stepping away from the phone. I've never been booked for it. I've never put myself up for it because part of me as a voiceover goes, it feels like that's a huge mountain for me to climb as a voiceover person. I think I've got to be as good as you before I'd even try. Maybe that's a bad way to think about it. Maybe I should actually give it a go. But
yeah, don't be that hard on yourself. Yeah, all you have to do is be better than everybody else who auditions.
That's right. Yeah, I know. But there's a lot of good people auditioning.
Like, it's so great getting tone. And I used to mimic my cousin a lot, because he's got this ochre Australian voice and it's really nasally. So he's like, Mum, Claire, why'd you steal my toy?
Oh, that's a good one. That sounds like Edith Bunker on All in the Family, the old sitcom from the States.
Archie.
That was, oh God, I can't think of her name, but that was good. That's a character. You better hold on to her.
You had Mel Blanc compliment you.
Yeah, it made my day, that's for sure. An old friend of mine that was a customer at the video store I worked back in the 80s, he had a showbiz. He was a showbiz booker, and God love him. He would have clown acts and clowns who came out and blew up balloons, and poodle acts that would come up and with the pink spray, and they'd do little poodle tricks, whatever, that kind of thing, and ventriloquists and magicians and I guess Mel Blanc had an office down the hall from him. And I'd given him my demo tape because he's the only person I knew who was in showbiz. And so he said, "Hey Mel, you got a minute? I got this kid over here. He says he wants to be you. Can I play his tape?" And he goes, "Sure. They all want to be me, kid. Yeah, go ahead. And so he played the tape, and it says that Mel Blanc stopped and he paused and he closed his eyes and he looked up at the ceiling and he started smiling. And it was about 2.5, 3 minutes long. And he didn't say anything except he goes, 'Tell the kid he's got it.' And he walked out. So I said, 'What did he say? Are you sure?' He said, 'Tell the kid he's got it.' I said, 'Damn, okay. That's a seal of approval. I could do this.' And so there you have it. And now I get to hang out with you.
Yeah, well, look at that. Full circle.
Who else are your heroes in the voice acting industry, the people that you looked up to aside from Mel Blanc?
Well, there was Dawes Butler was there. And he was just amazing. And there weren't that many of them, back in the day. There was, oh gosh, I'm forgetting his name now. Oh, this is terrible. But he was the Beware of Hitchhiking Strangers. Paul Frees, sorry. And he was amazing. And they're just, like I said, there was Stan Freberg, Mel Blanc, Paul Frees, Frank Welker was starting his career back then. And that's it. There just weren't that many. It wasn't that big a deal. There was some Disney and Hanna-Barbera, and that was it. And, there was no Disney Channel. There was no Disney Afternoon. There were no Comic-Cons, that's for sure. So, it was an industry that their time had come, and here we are.
Rob Paulson mentioned you guys meet up with each other at conventions. What's the best part of it for you?
Oh, well, seeing the people, seeing all the people, meeting them. And, I've got stories that just would put you on your knees, about kids who were latchkey kids. Their mom didn't get home until 5 o'clock, so she'd rewind the a videotape and record from 3 o'clock to 5 o'clock. And that was the whole 4 shows of the Disney afternoon. So they'd come home, rewind the tape from the day before, and watch those 2 hours worth of shows. And by then, Mom would be home, and they'd feel like they were safe. And they tell me, you were our babysitter. They're being pulled out of their everyday lives, and if they have trouble in their life, and it never fails. Every time I meet a group of people, several of them will say that Winnie the Pooh, and especially Winnie the Pooh and Tigger and Darkwing to an extent, they were almost like comfort food. They were a safe haven. If they could get home and put on Winnie the Pooh, that the world kind of washed away, and they were off to the 100-acre wood, and they could sit under a tree and have a smackwell and just relax until Tigger came along and made them bounce. But other than that, it was incredible.
You look like Winnie the Pooh when you do Winnie the Pooh, by the way. Your eyes soften. It's amazing to watch your face do that. That's incredible.
I've been told that. Yeah, I've been told that. Oh, well, what are you going to do?
Sorry about that.
Yeah, I'm glad I don't play Frankenstein.
Yeah.
You had that video that went viral with your grandson, though, with you doing the Winnie the Pooh voice. That was just so beautiful, though. And do you do that with your children?
I have. Yeah, they're underwhelmed because they're of course, most of them, my 4 daughters are all grown. Lulu's the youngest; she's 19, but now I've got a grandson to spoil and to wait until he, like I remember when Disney Afternoon was on, my daughter's friends would come over and they'd be looking at me like, oh, that's him. Make him say something. And my daughter Olivia would go, please don't do any voices. God, Dad, please, it's embarrassing. And I said, well, you better hope I keep doing those or you won't go to college, Missy. So she's since changed, and now I'll occasionally go. She's a school teacher, and I sometimes go to her class. So we've come, to talk to her kids.
We've got a couple of games here. So we've got a voice-off challenge. So I'm going to name a category or franchise or cartoon and see if you could voice a character or do a voice that applies to the situation. So the aim of the game is just the best impression wins. So it seems easy enough, right?
All righty. We'll see.
Well, I'm no good at it, so this is a you thing, Rach.
So it's your time to shine. So I want to hear you do a young voice to an old voice.
Oh, you mean as a thing? That's actually something I did a long, long time ago when I was first starting out, and then you had to make the guy sound like he was getting a little bit older as you went along, and then eventually the thing is, you just end up sort of an older fellow, and could you get me some more milk? I like
I like when you do that. That's really good. I'd like to hear your voice crack as you hit through puberty. Like in The Simpsons. The guy that always dips his head in the deep fryer.
Mr. Wazowski, help!
Yeah, Mr. Wazowski, it's happened again. I love that cracking of the voice. I love it I love that voice. That's hilarious. Anyway,
I'm gonna start from baby. It's like, I'm a big boy. Mommy, Mom, Claire stole that toy. Whatever, Mum. Now, Mummy needs to go to work, okay? I'll babysit the kids after I have a nice warm milk and my stories.
I reckon I can do this. Yeah, this will be the first one. Sorry, go on, Jim.
Then you hear her snoring.
Let me try one. I think I can do this one because it's not a specific character. Yeah, I won't go full baby. I'll be like, hi, can you please pass me my ball? Right, that guy. And then he goes, hey, that kid stole my ball. Right, and then it'll be like, I've got your ball. Right. And it's like, oh, I remember the day when I stole that kid's ball, and then it'll be like, oh, I wish I could play ball. There you go, my dad again. There we go, brilliant. There we go. Something about a ball. There you go. I felt like I achieved in that section, in that segment. Beautiful. Well done, Eddie.
You went through puberty. You graduated high school or something.
And I'm a ball man too.
So superheroes, the next one.
Hi, it's me. I'm Superhero Man. I actually played a guy sort of like this in a show called Jimmy Neutron, and he was extra tough. You'll feel the difference. But
Of course, Darkwing Duck is the terror that flaps in the night. He's an actual superhero. So I'm going to stick with DW.
That is amazing. I'm going to do female Darkwing. Let's get dangerous.
Fabulous.
Thank you.
What's wrong, little Jimmy? Have you lost your ball? About that.
So sing like a character, Lo, because you can sing like Scar.
Yes, I can. I know it sounds sordid, but you'll be rewarded when at last I am given my due, and injustice deliciously squared. Be prepared. As I told you, you have to laugh at the end of it.
I'm going to do a Christmas elf singing. So, little girl, the cat never bothers me anyway. It's Chip. Sure is. Chipmunk on helium.
A chipmunk on helium. It's like a double chipmunk. That's great. And I can't sing, so I'll pass on that one.
It's the only time I can actually sing.
You're going to mime it.
Yeah, mime it. Yeah, that's it. I'll get you to do my voice for me, Jim, and I'll just go, wow, with my mouth.
Can you do any animals?
Well, I suppose I do a few. I did a song with Brian Wilson of the Beach Boys many years ago, and it was for the Pediatric AIDS Foundation. When at the time when AIDS was really breaking out, they realized that some of the blood bank, so to speak, had been infected, and they were accidentally using blood, giving transfusions, and a couple little ones caught it, 3-year-olds, 4, and it was just awful. So everybody, I mean everybody, Sting, Billy Joel, Bette Midler, Bob Dylan, just on, and Brian Wilson of the Beach Boys, he's the leader of the Beach Boys. He called up Disney and he said he wanted to donate a song to the Pediatric AIDS Foundation for the album, for the fundraiser, for the research, and he said he needed he had a song called Country Feelings, and he wanted someone who could make the sound of a duck, a lamb, a cow, a goat, a rooster, etc. But it had to be in key, because it wasn't going to be a sound effect. They were going to be like the cow ended up being the bass, and let's see, the goat was sort of a percussion. And just on and on and on. So I went through and we just layered it and layered it and layered it, and it came out very, very interesting. And it's called Country Feelings. Yeah, Country Feelings, and it's by Brian Wilson with me on on Barnyard. I guess I was the Barnyard.
It's a nice way to showcase it.
So please check it out. Enjoy.
I will.
Let me know what you think.
I'll try and do some of the barnyard. And I can't do a cow, but I can do a badger.
I can do a cow. Cows are hilarious.
What about a Tasmanian devil? Okay, that was terrible.
Thank you.
No, that was good. That was wonderful. I think I don't know if I mentioned this. I feel like I might have mentioned it already, but the last time I was in Australia, we went to a zoo. And first of all, the Tasmanian devils aren't as big as I thought. They're not that. I'm sure, yeah, they're kind of tiny. But we were there, and I go, oh my gosh, look, it's a little Taz. It's Taz. And he turned around and ran away, and he went, and I went, oh my God, he sounds just like Mel Blanc, or in this case, me. And I could not believe that it sounded like that. And I remember there was a place, Davis Glick, a buddy of mine named Tony, was a recording engineer, and they were doing something about not Paul Hogan, but Bindi and the animal. Who was it?
Bindi Irwin?
Yes, Steve Irwin. He was doing a bit with that, and he said, "You're not going to believe this," and he played the Tasmanian Devil, and I thought it was me. It sounded so much. I mean, and Mel Blanc started it, obviously, and I just copied him. But it was dead on. I could not believe it. And I don't know. I can't do a roo, though, so don't ask.
Oh, they're easy. I can do that. They go like this. That's it.
It's like a bunny rabbit.
That was pretty good. But what about a waka? No, those I love.
A quokka. Oh, that's the New Zealand one. What does that sound like?
Well, I don't know, but they're so cute.
I'm not sure either, actually.
Yeah, I think they're from New Zealand.
Are they from New Zealand? Oh no, they're from Nest Island in Western Australia. Because people used to kick them and called it quokka soccer. It was a terrible thing.
Oh, you're kidding.
No, that's true.
Sorry, that's
unfortunately.
awful.
I know, it's true. It's terrible.
It could not be cuter.
Yeah.
It's impossible to find a cuter animal. Their natural face is a smile.
Yeah.
I think you've won that round.
Oh, you won all the rounds.
Yeah, you killed it, Jim.
As usual.
So to end this podcast, we've got a challenge for all our guests. So you know the whole inner world stick, like the trailer narration. We've got a challenge that we want you to do the trailer narration for this interview, and it can be in a funny voice, a variety of voices, imitating serious stereotypes or anything. Though we just want you to have fun with it.
Okay. In a world where Rachel and Eddie dominate, only one will survive, and it won't be Jim Cummings. Rock on.
That was so good. Thank you so much for your time, and the folks at Supanova for your support. You can check out Jim at a Supanova near you.
Jim Cummings, auxiliary Smurf. Well done. Thank you, mate. What's the name of your podcast?
Tuned in with Jim Cummings. TOONDIN with Jim Cummings.
Thank you, Jim.
All right, thank you.
Thank you for listening to This Is My Voice, the podcast about all things voice performance with the world's best voice artists. If you like what you heard, feel free to leave a review and don't forget to subscribe. This episode has been brought to you by the Australian Radio School and delivered to your ears by the Ozcast Network.